I would think most of us have had that job where we all wish we could have told our employer or supervisor what for and walk out with our heads held high knowing that we stood up to a total idiot or tyrant who had power over us. Some people have the luxury and security to do that. Others, not so much. Hello and welcome to One Man's Opinion, where I review professional theater on Broadway, national tours, and across Connecticut. Today I will be discussing Lynn Nottage's new comedy, Clydes, directed by Whoriskey and running through January 16th at the Helen Hayes Theater. I enjoy watching cooking shows, and I'm particularly fond of Gordon Ramsay. Most people are familiar with his reality series Hell's Kitchen, in which he shouts obscenities at chefs competing for whichever head chef prize he has to offer that season. The difference between Hell's Kitchen, a reality show set in a kitchen, and Clydes, which is obviously a piece of fiction, but is also set in a kitchen, is that Ramsay wants his would-be chefs to succeed. Not Clyde. Clyde, played by Uzo Aduba, actually wants her place to be a living hell for her employees. What Clyde does is she hires parolees who needs a job to maintain their freedom, where she can abuse them because they have no other choice. Because if they get fired or quit, they run the risk of being sent back to prison. This doesn't seem like, on the surface, the subject matter for a comedy, but Nottage has created 5 colorful, over-the-top characters that have such delightful eccentricities that they are infectiously funny. It may not be everyone's sense of humor, especially when Clyde is on stage, since she is such an evil personality. Frankly, if there's a fault with the play, it's that Clyde is too evil at times, edging the point of unbelievability. She's crass, rude, abusive, demeaning. She sexually harasses her employees. She blackmails them for things they didn't do. She treats them like subhuman beings because they're convicts. And there are no redeeming qualities for Clyde, and whenever we skirt around her background that could potentially garner some degree of empathy for her, she shoots it right down and makes you feel guilty for even trying to care. Some people may not be able to embrace that because there's no redeeming quality in the antagonist, that it makes it too one-dimensional. I could see that complaint being valid. I personally didn't feel that way. I thought she was hysterical even in her worst moments. Now, Clyde has no aspirations for her little roadside sandwich shop that caters to truckers. She dresses up in big colorful outfits and bright shiny gold jewelry. It's easy to infer that she's taking most of the profits for herself while her employees suffer at whatever base wages she's giving them. But her employees all hope for something better. Led by Montrellis, played by Ron Cephas Jones, who is sort of a Zen master for them. He mentors 3 younger sandwich makers through finding the finer, simpler joys of making food. That something even as cognitively simple as a sandwich can be elevated to something that transcends their oppressive world. If Clyde is the devil, Montrellis is the angel sitting on the opposite shoulder of the 3 other employees, looking to make good of their lives. And they try their best. Raphael, played by Riza Salazar, is struggling with addiction. Letitia, played by Kara Young, is dealing with a baby daddy who'd rather be high than take proper care of their child. And Jason, played by Edmund Donovan, is discovering that just because he's now out of prison doesn't mean he's going to be welcomed back to society in any meaningful way. As Letitia points out to him in the play, being a convict is the great equalizer. It doesn't matter what your race is anymore. Your privilege is gone. Meanwhile, Clyde is always lurking in the shadows, waiting for a chance to beat all 4 of them down and display her dominance. All 5 cast members are wonderful, even if they are a bit cartoonish at times, which is why, for me, the biggest credit for Clyde's being enjoyable and a success, and not falling too far into the realm of absurdity, goes to director Whoriskey. Clydes requires precision comedic timing in its delivery and an attention to detail in the movements of the cast members and what they are doing. It's not just for the dialogue to successfully translate, but for the cast's own safety, as there is frequent knife handling. They're literally chopping food on stage, and some of them quite adeptly. I'm fairly pleased at some of the knife skills that some of the actors have, particularly Kara Young. She handles a knife really well. And the occasional fire on stage that they have to work with. They are in a kitchen, after all. Something as simple as a 2-letter word delivered by Donovan near the end of the play, which brought the house down with the biggest laugh of the night, is impeccably timed. This attention to detail is prevalent throughout, and that kind of management only comes from an excellent director. Since Clyde's is such a broadly comic piece, it would be a shame if Whoriskey gets overlooked in lieu of the serious dramas of the season, because her efforts are no less impressive. What also shouldn't be overlooked is the play's message on the risk of recidivism, or a former convict being convicted again and returning to prison. In Pennsylvania, where the play is set, according to the state's website, its recidivism rate after 5 years is about 46%, so nearly half of people who get out of prison end up going back. What Nottage does is humanizes them in the best possible way by making them accessible through humor. They are hurting people not unlike us. Yes, they've screwed up, and yes, they may have done something more egregious than anything we've ever done. But these people, particularly the 4 who work for Clyde, they all truly want a new and better life. If they can just find the right ingredients for their own lives so they can transcend it, that they can taste life as it is intended and serve others with equal dignity. Nottage makes heroes out of people who wouldn't be given a chance to be anything more than pariahs. And if we take that with us the next time we see somebody struggling with life, then Clyde's as a play will not have failed. And that is one man's opinion of Clyde's on Broadway, playing at the Helen Hayes Theater through January 16th. If you're interested in seeing the play, I'll leave a link in the description where you can get information. If you like this review, please hit the like button, and don't forget to share and subscribe and follow me for future reviews. It's now time for Christmas shows to open, so I will be seeing a lot of those in the coming weeks. And my next review will be Miss Bennett, Christmas at Pemberley at Playhouse on Park in West Hartford, Connecticut. That'll likely come in about a week's time, so keep an eye open for that one. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you at the theater.